everybody, One Lake Fangirl here, and as you can tell, I got my microphone in, which means I can start doing more videos like this. As you can tell from the title of the video, I am going to be telling a story. A work story. Now, you see, I used to work for McDonald's, and it was my first and my last job, and I stayed with them for about 13 years. And I have a lot of stories to tell, good ones, bad ones. People came, people left. I mean, I loved my job. I loved the customers I have. So, I hope you enjoy these stories, and please bear with me because I'm learning how to animate and do all this all at once. So bear with me. So, let's get into the story now. So, I had to work, and I was clocking in, and it was me and this other guy, and he was on front counter, and let's see, just for anonymity's sakes, let's call him Chris. Yes, my characters have a purpose now. Chris was on front counter, and man, he is a total sweetheart. I love him to death. I'm still friends with him today. So, Chris was on front counter, and I got to be put in drive-thru, which I didn't mind. I love the customers in drive-thru, and I had all their orders memorized by heart. So, yeah, I really, really loved them so much. So, on this particular morning, I was working drive-thru, and Chris was on front counter, and this lady comes in. And this lady, she looked like she was having a bad morning anyway. But she tried to use her EBT card to get food. Now, anybody who knows what an EBT card is, it's government money. You can't use those in a fast food restaurant. So, she tried to get Chris to use the EBT card to pay for her food, which, of course, Chris was nice enough to tell her, no, you can't do that, and you have to pay in cash. So, she threw a hissy fit about it, and Chris managed to calm her down and get her to pay with cash that she had on her. And this was like a $35 order. So it was a big order, and Chris came to me and asked me to help him put together this huge order. Of course, I was more than happy to help him. I mean, that was my buddy. And so she had a lot of teas, and she wanted the teas with lemon. So I went back in drive-thru where we kept the lemons, and there was no tongs, so I used a spoon to put the lemons in the tea. And as I was doing this, I didn't notice that the lady had went behind the counter. Big no-no. And was watching me put the lemons in the tea. The next thing I knew, she was breathing down my neck and began screaming at me that I put my hands all over the lemons and was using my hands to put the lemons in her tea and wanted me to dump everything and remake it. Needless to say, her coming from behind me scared the poop out of me, and Chris came running around the corner hearing her yelling at me and me freaking out. Chris, the angel that he is, got her to calm down and offered to make a fresh batch of lemons for her, and he would make the teas and give them to her. So she agreed, and Chris went into the back to make her new lemons, and I was left up front with her, and she was still yelling at me, calling me such horrible things, and I just looked at her like, what the heck is your problem, lady? I did nothing wrong. And she was trying to keep this fight going. I just ignored her. So, long story short, Chris came back and gave her the lemons and made her tea and everything, and this made her happy and acted like Chris was her freaking hero. And Chris was annoyed, and so was I, and we were happy to get rid of her. So after we made sure she was gone, I was upset, but Chris came up laughing, and he had told me that while he was cutting the lemons, He wasn't wearing gloves, and he put his hands all over her lemons and stuck them in her tea and gave them to her. And she said that was the best tea she's ever had. He laughed, I laughed, and we were trying our best. It was really horrible what we did, but I felt better about it after what she did. Now I really don't condone people to do this. But Chris did this because she had upset me and he wanted to get back at her for that. But he never does this to anybody else, and this was just a one-time thing for him. So, bottom line to this story is, don't be mean. Don't be mean. Because you don't know what people are going to do to your food. So yeah, that's it for my first story, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was short, and I'm hoping to do longer videos in the future, so, oh, excuse me. I hope you'll enjoy the short animation, as it being my first one. I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you enjoy this one. I'm going to go draw. Bye.